A coincidence that a one-day international cricket whitewash against South Africa and our Republic Day have come in the same week. Mention South Africa and we Indians immediately recall from our social studies textbooks the name of a young lawyer, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Oh, those were the days. Mention South Africa this week and we recall the antics of a Virat Kohli. Oh, these are the days when a new India is aggressively trying to impress the whole world. Seriously, it is difficult to think of two other countries besides India and South Africa which were so close to each other at one time for different reasons and have now drifted so far apart that we now have hardly anything to do with each other. Google India, South Africa today and you get pages and pages of cricket news and little else. Which is why I'm talking about Gandhi, cricket and South Africa on this Republic Day. In today's India with a median age of 28, there are many college students who wonder whether Mahatma Gandhi was the husband or father of Indira Gandhi. Certainly, many in India are today oblivious to the fact that it was South Africa that molded the political skills of the young Gandhi. It was on June 7, 1893 that the 24-year-old lawyer was shoved out of a train for refusing to move out of his first-class seat. Who would think that the night that the young man spent at the Pietermaritzburg station between Durban and Pretoria was the beginning of the end of the British Empire on which the sun never set? That train ejection incident sowed the seeds of the concept of satyagraha, or insistence on truth in a non-violent fashion. Cut 129 years to 2022 and we see a totally different global picture. Both nations are free. South Africa for 28 years, India a comparative big brother for 75 years. In between, Gandhi was assassinated by his own countrymen and South Africa's independence icon, Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in jail, close to the median age of India today, led his country to independence and gave it admirable early leadership. Naturally, the visuals from South Africa this week are distasteful and disheartening. We Indians were once the embodiment of non-violence and equality. But this is what one of our New Age ambassadors does in front of live television, kicking in frustration, swearing into the stump microphone, and abusing the South African captain. Doesn't such offensive and downright rude behavior from a celebrity tarnish India's image at large? I asked a former Indian ambassador and a permanent representative of India at the United Nations, T.P. Srinivasan.
Yes, certainly, because a certain amount of decorum and dignity and good language are expected of people who are virtually our ambassadors abroad, cultural ambassadors too, not only sports ambassadors. So it has a major impact on our image.
Kohli, of course, is not the first Indian sports star to throw tantrums abroad, even though he may be unique in being a serial offender. T.P. Srinivasan was a fresh, young Indian Foreign Service officer at India's Tokyo Embassy in Japan in 1970 when India played a Davis Cup tie against Japan. India's famous tennis star of those days, Jaydeep Mukherjee, was playing an inconsequential match against his Japanese opponent because India had already won the tie against Japan. And because it was an inconsequential tie, Jaydeep Mukherjee was fooling around court. Utterly frustrated and provoked by Mukherjee's actions, the Japanese player loudly swore at him. The young Srinivasan diplomatically did not translate that swear word for Mukherjee, but the Japanese media did not miss it.
But next day in the newspapers, in the sports page, there was this saying that so-and-so calls Mukherjee a bastard. And that angered him. And he called me and asked, why didn't you tell me? I would have broken his head.
Jaydeep Mukherjee, of course, is no comparison to a Virat Kohli in sheer breadth of influence. Not even a Narendra Modi comes close to Kohli, who has 179 million followers on Instagram. Meaning, 13 out of every 100 Indians are influenced by Kohli. Take a look at India's leading Instagram influencers and their follower numbers. Virat Kohli, 179 million. Priyanka Chopra, 73 million. Shraddha Kapoor 69 million, Neha Kakkar 67 million, Narendra Modi 65 million. Would Gandhi have had more followers than Dilip Kumar in 1947 if Instagram was there? Just a thought. Obviously, India's tastes and attitudes have changed over the years and we've become much more aggressive. Until recently, the Australian cricket team was notorious for sledging. Today, our cricket team is feared around the world, both for its world-famous pace bowling attack and for our sledging abilities. We once were world champions in cricket. Today we are sledging champions with no trophies. So much so that there is even a Quora question on Google. Why does Virat Kohli abuse all of his opponents? Worse, in the new India, there seems to be a total absence of people with character who can censure the wrongdoers. Talk truth to power. For example, who in the BJP, including its party president, can ask searching questions to a Narendra Modi or an Amit Shah? Or who in the Congress, including the group of 23, can pull up a Sonia Gandhi for anything at all, including the recent mess up it is making in Punjab? Or who in CPM, including its party general secretary, can stand up and question Pinarayi Vijayan? So don't be surprised that a KL Rahul, captaining India, can only meekly look on as one of his players, Virat Kohli, crosses rank and abuses the South African captain. KL Rahul is merely symbolic of the titular heads of present-day India, meek, mild and captives of the powerful. So the Kohlis of the world with millions of followers can keep chewing something when India's national anthem is played. We haven't seen many photos of Mahatma Gandhi playing any games, but what an irony. Kohli is seen as a batter, Mahatma Gandhi is seen as a sport. This week we learned how one arrogant salesperson in a car showroom can dent the image of a brand as big as a Mahindra. And this week we learned how one foul-mouthed cricketer can tarnish the image of a brand as humongous as India. My Republic Day wish that the Indian cricketers bring to the field the aggression of a Subhash Chandra Bose in trying to play and win, and be Gandhian in the way they behave with opponents. And may we be able to see Virat Kohli, the world-class cricketer, in full flow again. The cut shots, the pulls, the cover drives, the leg flicks, keep them coming. This video is dedicated to Annamma Ulahanna, a 90-year-old who served in the kitchen of the Chambakara St. Joseph's Upper Primary School near Karukachal, Kerala. She served there for 50 years, a half-century, cooking up nutritious meals for some 3 generations of students there. This week she decided to retire, and on the final day, the school students served her. All through those 50 years, there was no swearing, no sledging, just serving.